Hey everyone, I'm Tree Kent with Defeat the Breach Coalition, and today I am so excited to introduce our guest for the Hacker Tracker download, Professor Jason Mitchell. Professor Mitchell is with the Lansing Community College, and he is the coordinator for the Center of Cyber Education, Security Education. Thank you, Jason, for joining me. Super excited.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm very excited as we move towards Cybersecurity Awareness Month and all that entails.
Yes, full swing here.
Yeah.
So, Lansing Community College has an amazing cybersecurity education program, and as coordinator, you're very much a part of it. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so at Lansing Community College, we have a program that's been certified by the Department of Homeland Security and a national security agency that we're providing students with the ability to learn many different skill sets within cybersecurity. And at the end of their certificate or associate's degree, to get a number of industry certifications, including the trifecta, it's called, the A plus, Network plus, Security plus. They also can obtain Cisco certification and Linux certification. During their time at LCC, they also can participate in a number of events and groups. For example, I coordinate our ethical hacking club, where we meet once a week for 2 hours at a time and discuss current trends in cybersecurity, and also practice red team and blue team tools and tactics.
That is amazing. What an honor to be a designation with the Homeland Security as well. That's incredible. You must have such an influx of interest in this program. Are you seeing that with cybersecurity and so many, like it's in every business, it's in every, profession going forward. Are you seeing a huge increase in students interested in this and joining?
We are, and we're getting students from multiple disciplines across the college. So as you're aware, cybersecurity is in everything. So we're getting students not only, interested in coming from the IT field, but from the business field, from insurance, because Lansing actually has a conglomeration of insurance organizations, and purchasing cybersecurity insurance is important nowadays.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm sure
Yeah.
that's going to really grow.
Yep. And through our police academy, we're getting police officers
Yeah.
coming in because we also have a digital forensics course that we're looking to integrate into our cybersecurity degree as well.
Oh,
And
awesome.
healthcare. Yeah. So
Yeah.
every discipline has the ability to have some sort of cybersecurity involved in it.
That is so cool. With every business now going into a virtual space, how are you like preparing either a curriculum or kind of reevaluating everything in terms of educating students for a whole new work landscape that's coming up?
So at Lansing Community College, the areas that I teach are vocational, meaning that you come in, you learn a new skill set, and our goal is to get you a job in the field that you want. And one way that we do that, one way that we're really good is hands-on experience. It's not like you're reading a book, taking a test, you get a grade, and there you go. We provide practical hands-on knowledge. And, with COVID, it's kind of hard to do that. So we've had to reevaluate a lot of our labs, and we're now using cloud-based services for that. And getting students familiar with using cloud, using Azure, using AWS. And so they are getting a new skill set as long as learning things. And the importance of securing the cloud as well, as most organizations are using VPNs, cloud-based services like Office 365, Zoom, WebEx, Microsoft Teams. It's important that they realize the configuration, the things that you'll need to secure those channels, because that is going across of it. Important.
With The cybersecurity education here at Lansing Community College, which is amazing that it's here in our local community, so many people, I think, still don't grasp the idea and the fact that cybersecurity attacks happen here way more than we think and with more people than, are targeted than they realize. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I can talk to that on a personal level, actually. So a couple of things. Number one, there is actually statistic. I read this yesterday that the first month of this year we've had the accumulation of attacks that took all place last year. So in one
Oh
month,
my
we've
goodness.
already uh, we've already beat 2019.
Wow.
So these attacks are taking
If
place.
that wasn't a testament to 2020 coming up.
Oh, yes, exactly. And yeah, with 2020, everybody being online, everybody using a VPN, now the attackers or criminals are looking at, well, now if I can target the individual and attack their home, which is usually less secure than the workplace, and if I can get their admin credentials, at their home, then I can traverse the VPN and attack them that way. So there's a lot of scavenging of LinkedIn and a lot of open source intelligence gathering on the attacker's part to get information so they know where to attack and low hanging fruit, but they don't want to put in a lot of time, right?
Right?
And I had mentioned personally, I think about 3 weeks ago, I was actually targeted in an attack, and I think LCC just put out a newsletter, kind of detailing some of the attack in it. And it started off through email. Like I was getting these emails that I weren't. I didn't know who the sender was, and it looked kind of like gibberish, and I wasn't sure what they were talking about. And I get hundreds of emails a day. So I just, delete them. I don't open them. And then I got a call from HR. I got calls from my colleagues saying, I just got this email and they're talking about you in a really, really horrible way. Very explicit pictures, very um, strong language that I was having um, going on with students and other things, and they were trying to discredit me. And then I went back and read the emails that had been sent, and they basically said, "Hey, uh, we have me and the dark web have pinpointed you, and we're going to." Make you have a bad day unless if you pay X amount of money in Bitcoin.
Oh my
And
goodness.
since I've ignored the emails, they went and did it. And in
So
these
people need to
emails,
know like these threats are very much real. These are real threats,
right,
not just a prince looking for you to send some money anymore like it was 5 years ago. It's pay up or pay.
exactly. And they did have in the email, they had scraped my Facebook account, which I have it locked down. The only thing that you could have seen is my profile pictures. And they had a number of my profiles pictures. So they had been watching me for quite some time. They had all my LinkedIn information. So they had scraped the jobs that I had attended. They basically went through my resume. They went through all my contacts on LinkedIn. Then they went to, there's a number of websites out there like White Pages where you can type in someone's user email account or first name, last name, and where they live. And you can
Wow.
get addresses. They had my home address. They had my cell phone number. They had my relatives' phone numbers and addresses. And they, because I wasn't paying and they kept on escalating the Bitcoin, they then started attacking my relatives, sending
Oh
them
my goodness.
information. They then through contacts on LinkedIn, they started contacting my students and just trying to tell them that I'm a horrible person. I'm doing these horrible things, and yeah, it was awful. Uh,
Oh my goodness. This is, I mean, it's scary. And it's scary that they targeted literally a professor of cybersecurity and IT. And even though you have all of the proper measures, we're not invisible. You can do everything right, and you're still such a target with such an impact. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
And they're not, I shouldn't say they're not highly skilled, but all of the information that they gathered and used and all the techniques that they used, it's just open source intelligence. It's
Hmm.
just if you know how to Google, you could do this type of attack. Not that you should or want to, but it wasn't technical in nature. They did in the links have malware, so if I clicked on the links, they would definitely infect my machines. Which as a professor, I know not to click on anything. I know to have not to do password reuse. I know to have two-factor authentication on every single account where
Hmm.
possible. I've actually contacted my carrier, my phone carrier, and said, I will not call you and say I want a new phone, or I'm not going to get a phone. So what they had is they actually have behind the scenes extra security measures where not only do you have to know PIN number, you have to answer security questions, and you have to have another factor of authentication in order to buy a new phone or change your service.
That's a really, really great tip. I know I bank with a very local credit union, and I know I did something similar where I said if I ever withdraw money, without being an ATM with my PIN, but if I call or come in, here's a password. I want to password protect my bank account. And they are wonderful about if I do call, they ask me that password. And that's a really good tip for everyone out there. Like to think of your accounts and think of what extra you can do as a layer.
Yeah, yeah. And lock your credit cards down, like freeze them. You can
Hmm.
do that through the credit organizations, the three that are
Yeah.
out there. Yeah,
Yeah, really good tip.
yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing how much cybersecurity awareness has grown. Do you watch Netflix?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you like your thoughts on this, and maybe if you haven't seen it, just tell me and we can skip over it. But with Netflix, there's been a lot more shows that are gaining popularity that are around online or security and cyber. There were two really popular ones. One was very recent, The Social Dilemma. Did you see that one
I have
about?
not watched that yet.
Okay, so that one is about how much social media algorithms track and feed based on how long you pause, even on an ad, things like that. The other one was called The Stranger. Did you watch that one?
I did not
No?
watch that one
So
either.
The Stranger was basically people pay a cyber hacker and she cyber stalks them, finds out really personal information, and then provides that to the person who paid her. And then that person blackmails, saying, I know that you're having an affair because the cyber hacker found hotel charges or things like that. And so it's kind of like instead of paying for a private investigator now. People are paying cyber hackers to go in online and dig up texts and messages and social media accounts and bank account information because that's where the nitty gritty details are faster, easier, and the investigator isn't driving around in a car anymore. It was really interesting how I thought. I think it's interesting that Netflix and shows and popularity are starting to kind of catch up with this like cybercrime, and people are when they're top rated shows to watch on Netflix, it just shows like people are more and more like curious and interested and you know, it's interesting stuff.
Yeah, it is. And I think, I mean, the younger generation are used to technology, and how it's integrated in their lives through the various assistants, the Amazon Echoes and the Google Nest, uh, uh, I mean, Google just released a whole slew of products yesterday,
Yeah.
within their ecosystem. And I think everybody, the younger generation are is used to this type of technology and how it benefits their lives and how to set it up like how to install it and run it. And the first week of this Cybersecurity Awareness Month is actually if you connect it, protect it. That's their
Mhm.
theme, right?
Yep.
And so, it's getting people familiar with, well, if you set up or touch technology, you should also be responsible for the security of it. And I think, those trends, in Netflix and movies and how people are aware of these different devices and how they can be hacked. And in the same, flip side, how to protect it.
Is there is there a course or something that LCC wants to teach students kind of going forward, which is this ethical cyber, you know, having an ethical cyber approach. So if they, graduate and they do go into a business to take a look at that business's vulnerabilities and have an ethical, we need to, like you said, if we connect it, protect it. And we have, when I say ethical, I mean, we have more of a responsibility to our customers, clients, patients, people we do business with to protect their data. It's not about our system even anymore. We have this ethical obligation to protect theirs and their information that's more advanced than where the law has kind of caught up. Because the
Right.
law is still being figured out. It's very gray. Is the LCC kind of talking about that, or thinking of more in terms of that kind of knowledge and growth going forward?
Yeah, so we've kind of incorporated those type of ethics in all of our courses. We don't necessarily have one course that that goes through what you're talking about
Mm-hmm.
as a mindset. We do, like I said, I teach or advise or run our ethical hacking club, and then there we are learning things that could be used for evil, and we go through and we talk about, well, how, for example, we'll take a case like ransomware, and we'll pull up the news item and say, okay, this is how the infection took place. This is what they did, and we'll dissect it and do kind of a postmortem, and just say, okay, well, if you were in IT, like, what would you do? How would you, make prevent that from occurring,
Yeah.
and just kind of run through a mind game, and and it usually leads to, doing your due diligence and the ethical of handling of data, and doing your best. The problem in most organizations, when you talk about businesses, the IT department does not get money uh, to protect the assets. It's really true.
Mm-hmm.
For every dollar that comes in the organization, it's like a penny is spent on cybersecurity.
Yeah.
So,
That's
uh,
that's true.
yeah.
That's true.
One thing that I like to talk about every now and then is the trends in
Yeah.
cybersecurity.
Yeah.
And I think right now, as we see, like in the news, the universal health system, that's the one this past weekend that got hit. It's a Fortune 500 company with 400 different facilities ranging from, traditional hospitals to psychology and psychiatry, and all their services were locked via ransomware. And that ransomware was purchased or used as a service.
Oh my.
And so you might have what is it, MLM, mid level marketing, or
Yep.
multi-level marketing.
Yep.
And that's how it is. That's yesterday. There's this hacking group called Our Evil. They dumped $1 million. They donated $1 million to this hacking forum to show people we are drowning in money. We're making so much money doing ransomware as a service. And what they're
Wow.
trying to do is they're trying to get hackers or script kiddies or really anyone to target organizations and use their service. Because what happens is when they use their service, they get a percentage of the ransom.
Oh my goodness. It's
And
literally pyramid
it's a
sales
pyramid
of
scheme. Yeah.
ransomware.
Yes, exactly. And the more people you have under you, the more people, the more money you make, and it just goes up the chain.
That that is incredibly scary. Especially considering that when you think about these cyber attacks, these are things that people can do from a coffee shop, from home, anywhere that it's like, hey, I do want to make some extra money. I know some computer skills. Let me join.
Yeah.
That is very scary.
Yeah. So we talked about this in our club yesterday, and we talked about how there really is only four options when you get hit with ransomware. Number one is the pay. Number two is just to suffer the cost, the
Hmm.
cost of recovery. And then number three would be maybe having insurance and negotiating. And then the other is just burn everything and start again.
Right. Right.
Um, and we talked about some of the ways of protecting, your infrastructure before ransomware hits you. And really, at the end of the day, it comes to user awareness training. And it also, there are some technical strategies like hiding your shares. So if you do get hit with ransomware, it does not spread across your organization. Segmenting your traffic is super important. Right
Hmm.
now, the whole philosophy in cybersecurity, that's hot topic, which is a whole other probably conversation, is zero trust. You know,
Yes.
we used to trust the inside of our organization and not the outside. And now, from a cybersecurity perspective, you don't trust anything in your organization. Just imagine everything is, identifying your assets and just knowing that everything's out to get that.
Right. And the lack of we talked about the lack of law kind of catching up, but it's for a lot of businesses with that with this insider threat, it's lack of policies. People just don't have policies, businesses just don't have policies written for staff to follow, and then they kind of wind up in this loophole of, black hole of what was not authorized, what is a threat, attack, or unauthorized access that's a problem for our company. Professor Mitchell, thank you so much for joining us with Defeat the Breach and for National Cybersecurity Awareness Month. This is amazing information. Lansing Community College Cybersecurity Program, education program is incredible. We're so honored that you have this program here in our Lansing community. I encourage everyone to go to LCC's website and check out this curriculum. And if you have students, kids graduating, especially with the new work landscape that we're in, definitely check out some of these certifications and programs that we have available. So, again, Professor Mitchell, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate having you here.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.